sports. And with 100 years of law enforcement in his blood, Tommy Sedner. It's all things sports, plus cop talk, current events, entertainment, and more. Joined by America's favorite Jersey girl, Robin DeLory. It's the King and the Cop. Now, here's Tommy, Jimmy, and Robin.
Good luck, you're on.
Hello, Tampa. It's Monday, April 11th. Good afternoon. I'm Tommy Setner.
I am the King, Jim Laritz.
Jimmy Laritz and Robin DeLory. And we got Matt, our producer, and Adam, our engineer. Little Masters music. New Jersey got a little greener. I'm wearing my green today. Robin's wearing her green today because maybe our listeners don't know. And we're live, and I want you to call us today on the Big 872-727-518-0820. But Scotty Scheffler, hello, Master. It's from New Jersey. It's from New Jersey.
Jersey bred.
Jersey bred.
Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. And you know what? Speaking of New Jersey, it's trout season, Rob.
I know. I love to fish.
We're not fishing. I'm talking Mike Trout. Jimmy, we'll talk later. I don't know if there's a better player in baseball. And one of the things we're going to get in today, you never should judge somebody. Maybe we should judge. You're Aaron, but you ain't no Hank, my man. $213 million. Really? I can't believe it. And there's a new star in Tampa besides the King and the Cop and DeLory. Her name's Rachel Balkovec, the new single A Tampa manager, first female. Good for you, New York Yankees, besides kicking the crap out of the Red Sox most of the week.
That's awesome.
You did something else. You hired a woman. But on another New Jersey note, but a sad note, we lost a good kid, man. We lost Dwayne Haskins, Steelers quarterback. City's melting. This poor kid got hit by a car down in Florida. We'll talk about that a little. Just a senseless death. And other than sports, we like to do a little entertainment news. With all due respect, Dr. Fauci, will the real Dr. Fauci stand up? Dr. Fauci came out this weekend and said, now, as Americans, we should assess the virus. What does that mean, assess? Well, I'm going to assess. I don't want to wear my mask on the plane anymore.
That would be a great assessment.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't want to watch my partner, Jimmy, eating peanuts for 5 hours so he doesn't have to keep his mask on.
Seriously.
But we want to be safe. But really, doctor? Really? Why don't you lead us? Give us a real answer. And then, I was at Jimmy, you were at all of the opening Yankee games. Last night I got to go, Robin and I. We took my youngest daughter, Brett, freshman at Fordham, and her 3 friends. We had a blast. Robin will get into a couple things. But I also went to see a couple friends on Friday, opening day down in Denver in the Rockies. And Russell Wilson threw out the first pitch. I think they should sign him as a closer.
He might get a pretty good arm.
Holy mackerel, what a pea he threw. What a beautiful stadium. I know you know it well, Jim, you played there, but had a really nice time with people and attended a law enforcement dinner that night. It was great. And in the 5:30 hour, we're going to do the Robin rundown. And I mean rundown. She's in a pickle. And she's going to have one of her friends. What has Lisa won in her day? I know she's an award-winning journalist and TV host.
Oh no, she's like a powerhouse.
All right, girl. She's a power. Lisa Marie Falbo.
She's from home. She's from my high school.
I know.
Yeah,
New Jersey.
Yeah, I thought you thought I met her through Miss America.
No, I didn't think that. No, I know she's from home. And we'll hit a lot of weekend baseball updates. But Jimmy, let's start with the Masters. I know you were at the game, Yankee game last night. I was, and we planted ourselves in front of TVs in Yankee Stadium. A lot of excitement. Rory McIlroy tried to put a little charge in at the end. Rudy. He's not getting it done. But Scotty Scheffler, man, other than the 18th hole, and it was laughable, and I'm glad to see him laugh, Jimmy. He missed a 2-foot putt. Just dominated in weather conditions that weren't very good for the first couple days, but kept his cool. And before I let you have it, I listened to him, and I know you did. I thought it was really cool that he was so honest that on the morning, Sunday morning, the finals, he woke up, sat on his bed, and was hysterical crying and said to his wife, I don't know if I'm ready for this. And meaning, I don't know that I can win the Masters. I don't think I should be even involved to win the Masters. And she said, you're a God-fearing man. We pray every night. And who do you think you are saying whether you should win or not? I thought that was really honest, really cool. You could speak to it. But what were your thoughts about, we'll get into Tiger, but Tiger was a story, but this kid's really the story. 4 wins. He's made $10 million in the last 6 weeks. It's unbelievable what he's done, and he won the Masters.
Yeah, the question everybody's asking is, are we seeing something that's just a flash, or is this something that's going to be a norm from here on in, with Scottie Scheffler being the next, I wouldn't put him on the Tiger Woods level, but, he did run away with the Masters. I mean, it was not much of a challenge for him. And, he was very fortunate that Cameron Smith hit the ball in the water on the 12th hole. That was his death. And I think he was the only one, despite how hard Rory came back. I mean, Rory shot -8 on the last day of the Masters.
No, he had a hell of a day.
And I tell you what, though, just like the Masters, every time, though, there's something besides the winner that just gets the fans going. And on that 18th hole, when Rory chipped in, and then my boy Morikawa, he chips in.
That was amazing.
It was one of the most amazing things I'd ever seen.
Yeah, and even they got so excited. They're hugging each other and jumping.
Yeah.
You would have thought they were tied to win, or something. It was really cool. But the day went to him. I love, like you do and our listeners do, and please call in 727-518-0820. You're listening to the Big 8 today, live from 4 to 6, covering a bunch of stuff. But this kid's family, he's squared away. He's grounded. Him and his wife have a beautiful relationship. They're God-fearing people, and they just he made it happen. But I loved his father said, they said, you're a Texas guy, blah, 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 blah. And his father said, he's a Jersey boy. I guess they moved out when he was 5 or 6. And the wife said, he gets a kick out of saying he's from Jersey. So I get a kick out of saying he had the balls of a Jersey guy yesterday, because every time he got challenged, he stepped up. He just absolutely stepped up. It was that simple. You were almost waiting for him, that one shot or to fail or somebody do something special. And they were. Rory was coming. He was definitely coming. But this kid wasn't letting it happen. Yeah.
It started with the first hole. The first hole, he drives the ball out and he bogeys. And, and then you just think, okay, here we go. Or I think he ended up saving par. But, you could see right off the bat. And he did not let it rattle him. He did not let it get to him. And, it was pretty special. When all the talk all week long was Tiger Woods, Tiger Woods, Tiger Woods. And again, what an accomplishment to finish 72 holes coming back from what he was just a year ago.
You know better than anybody, man. You're a world-class athlete. When you get hurt and you have the injuries, and I know you've had many injuries. I've been with you when you were rehabbing yourself with the Bears, and you were trying to get back up. It's just such pain and the work you put in, and then after it, and God bless him, he comes out and he's 1 under, and then the weather, Mother Nature just took over his body. And you know that, I know that. Anybody that's listening that's our age knows that. I mean, my grandfather used to say, it's going to rain today. What do you mean, Pop? You watch the weather? No, I can feel it in my bones. I can't imagine what Tiger Woods felt, throughout the last 2 days, because I watched him. I almost wanted to cry watching him walk up the hill at the end. I mean, it was just, his meat was loafing, as they say.
I can tell you with a plus 13, what was hurting. I mean, he was definitely hurting. But he did announce he's going to play in the Players, the next match.
Yeah.
And, he's
going to Scotland. He's going to the home of golf. He said he's going to play there. It's his favorite course.
Yep. And by the way, we do have to bring it up. Your pick, Justin Thomas,
Oof.
-1. And my pick, Morikawa, was -4. So even though we didn't win the match, I did kind of win that bet.
Well, listen, I'll buy you dinner, but this ain't a Rudy's golf tournament, for God's sakes. Who's ever going to remember who got mine? They're going to remember Scottie Scheffler. One of the cool things, Jimmy, and you're right, your guy was making a run too. Nobody could just get it together. Justin Thomas just is almost suffering from what Rory is suffering from. It's a little bit in his head. He's pushing hard. And our buddy, who we love, and Robin's pick, Jordan Spieth, didn't even make the cut first time in 9 years. And that's heartbreaking too, because I just think this kid, I know he's a new father. And Jack Nicklaus used to talk about that. As life goes on and you have children and your life changes a little bit, your priority, and maybe you're not putting the time in, but he's just he's suffering upstairs too right now. I hope he gets
one
back.
of the things, when I first got to the big leagues and used to hang out with George Brett, that was one of the first things George Brett told me. And of course I didn't listen because I got married twice during my playing days.
Right.
He said, do not get married while you play. And he said, that's the reason. If your focus is not 100% on the game, you're going to have distractions. You're going to have problems. And, George did that his whole career, and he didn't get married until
he's a Hall of Famer. And you notice your teammate, DiMaggio and George Brett, Derek Jeter was not getting married while he was playing. He wanted to keep his focus. And I enjoyed. I got to tell you something. I enjoyed the Masters, but I didn't enjoy it as much. I felt like it really wasn't like. I'm glad that Scotty won, but I felt like it was really. Nobody could get over the hump, I'm like, here comes Justin Thomas, here comes America, here they come, and then boom, they hit like a brick wall, and he was the brick wall. He just kept putting his hand up,
And that's just it. That's the few years before COVID that I was going to it, there was always 5 to 7 guys
right
in the last thing that were vying for within 2 shots, and unfortunately they didn't have it this time. And it took a little bit of the luster away, but it was still, like I said, the stories that came out of it.
It was special.
To win his 4th tournament now in less than 3 months.
Yep. That's amazing, Jimmy. That's really, you think of the sponsorships and all. Now, when you win the Masters, they're going to drag you. He's going to be on every damn TV show. And that's when things slow down for a little bit. And he's probably exhausted. You listen to the Big 8 today. It's Monday, April 11th, and we got a lot to talk about. We're talking about the Masters with Jimmy Leyritz, the King, Tommy Setner, and Robin Delory. 727-518-0820.
Babe, can I just say something?
Of course.
I know you were talking about fishing before, and I was kidding because I hate fishing,
right.
And I hate anything that has to do with boats and anything like that.
Get seasick in the bathtub.
Majorly.
Right.
Speaking of getting seasick, could you try not to keep bouncing into my chair? Because I feel like I'm on a boat, and I'm like, watch me, like rocking back and forth. Because you keep hitting me like this.
What is this, a domestic violence?
I was just saying.
I'm sorry.
I feel like I'm in a little dinghy.
All right.
Can you move over or something? I love you, but.
Yeah, I'm going to move over. How about permanently? Anyway, back to the Masters.
I'm going to move out the door.
NHL. We got an NHL. We're doing a radio show, and we got an NHL fight breaking out. Jimmy, so where's he go from that here? What do you 4 wins, like you said, all the money, all the attention's coming, good family man, young man, 25 years old. One of the other cooler things they said, he goes, like a little kid, he sits up there and he says, well, I'm going to get to come here. I'm allowed to come here the rest of my life now.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's pretty. That's what separates the Masters. They're like the Yankees. They treat their champions. They don't forget. And we talked about the champions dinner that they do on Tuesday nights. But I think I forget who said it, Brandel Chambly or whoever said it last night. Sometimes nice guys finish first.
Oh yeah.
The old saying, "Nice guys finish last." This is a nice guy.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I was watching Michael and I, Robin's son, and you and I talk about this, and I was telling Michael, there's players in life in sports, when they come on your TV, you don't go to the refrigerator, as they say. You don't go anywhere. You sit down and watch that at-bat. You watch that run. You watch that shot that they take in an NBA final. And Mike Trout's one of them, man. And we joke around a lot about Jersey. Mike lives way down in South Jersey. First of all, Jimmy, you notice there's an old saying, how you look in a uniform. He looks menacing in a uniform. I mean, you just can't have a better poster child the way he looks. And then he has that presence at the plate. So we were watching, I forget who was pitching against him, and I don't know if you saw it, they threw him 2 sliders, Mark Wahlberg sliders. And he kind of got a little fooled on him. Like he just Actually, Robinson asked me, do you think Mike Trout guesses or he's on dead red fastball and he adjusts to the slider or the curve? I said, he probably sits on fastball. And with that, the guy throws him a 98 heater and he hits it over Disneyland. I mean, it's just like it was nothing. You can see the picture like, why the hell would I throw him that pitch? And you can see he's got a little gimp in his step still. I'm not saying this from Jersey. I think this is a Michael Jordan type guy, a Tom Brady type guy without a winning team. And I don't know that you can put one individual on a baseball team and say, well, you got to win a championship to make it great. This kid is special, just special. I mean, there's a lot of great players in the game right now, but he's just stud.
Yeah, no, he's fun to watch. And like I said, I'm out there in California most of the time and I get to see him. And, he just goes about the game. You don't like to make the comparisons to other players from the past because these athletes today are completely different than the past. But a guy like Mickey Mantle who showed up every day, no matter what, to play. And you don't see the bat flips. You don't see the ego or anything like that. He just goes out there, plays the game, and when it's over, it's over. And
you're so right. Delory, Jimmy's supposed to be jumping in last night. We were all at the game. You were in this doing your thing in the game. And again, it's always fun to watch the Yankee fans, how they are with you. But I had my youngest daughter, Brett, and she brought her three college roommates. They were so excited. We were sitting and we had this nice suite. We were eating nice dinner. And she said, girls, come on. Do you want some Yankee gear? Yes, of course they want Yankee gear. And we're going to break in 60 seconds. And Delory, of all people, a Met fan, of all people, they said, well, let me get an Aaron Judge t-shirt or let me get this. She said, no, he may not be here. Get a Mickey Mantle one. Isn't that the truth? And they all had Mantle shirts on. I got goosebumps. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. They have no clue who Mickey Mantle was. But, that being said, as we were walking out of our Audi suite, I showed the girls.
There's just some things that just never go out of style.
No, you're 100% right, Robin.
Yes, and if you're a Yankee fan, you can't go wrong with Mickey Mantle.
But by the way, and before we go, we got our green on today, our style for our Jersey guy, even though he doesn't live in the Masters. But Jimmy, as we walked out the door, we all stopped in front of the picture, and there's Jimmy Leyritz hanging up with Doc Gooden on his shoulders and a no-hitter, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago. So pretty cool stuff. We'll be back. Call us 727-518-0820. You're listening to Jimmy Leyritz, Tommy Setner, and Robin Delory, Monday, April 11th on the Big 8. Let's talk Masters, baseball. We got a lot to talk about. Let's judge number 99. What the hell is he thinking when we come back?
Now, back to the show. The King of the Cop continues.
Welcome back to the King and the Cop Tampa. And speaking of Tampa, we'll get to the Rays, the only undefeated in MLB. Granted, they played the Baltimore Orioles, but everybody puts the Rays on the back burner, and they seem to keep this hometown proud. But before we bounce around MLB, I said it in the beginning, and I love this guy, and I think he's a class act, was raised right. He's a role model, I'll say that. But Aaron Judge was offered $213 million, and he turned it down. Okay, buddy, you're Aaron, but you're no Hank Aaron. But Jimmy, I'm sure you'll educate Robin and I and our listeners. What's going on? What are you hearing? I mean, I always use this term. You got your finger on the pulse. It's your buddies. These are your former teammates and colleagues.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those situations where a 7-year deal kind of puts him in a category where he's almost too old to get it, and he would probably be on a year-to-year contract after that. So he was trying to get 9 years to where he felt like, okay, that would be about right when I'm going to be ready to maybe step down, depending on the numbers, depending on where he was in history. Would he keep going like an Albert Bell, or would he go off into the sunset like a Jeter when he left before everybody thought he was done? I think that was more the reason than the actual money. I mean, he did want $36 million over 10 years, which, if you do the math, that's $360 million, and that's $120 million difference between the two. That's a big, big number difference.
I know, but he's not eating cornflake sandwiches. I mean, really.
I know. Listen.
I mean, come on, man. The country's, I don't know. Listen, I'm rooting for him. I think the Yankees will do the right thing. I thought it was interesting and calculated, and I think they were justified. Cashman came out and did a little preemptive strike saying we offered him, we wanted him. He then turned around and said, I wish they didn't do that. But you can understand Cashman wanted to start the season and get on with the game, and, he didn't want to answer Aaron Judge questions for the rest of the year. What did you think about Cash doing that?
I was kind of surprised that the Yankees didn't counter at least.
Yeah.
Maybe they did. They just didn't talk about it, because in those kind of negotiations, the 7-year deal that they were giving him didn't start till 2023. And it would average out to be $30.5 million per year, which, he wants 36. Maybe you meet in the middle at 33. Maybe you go to, they go up to 32. I was surprised there was not more public negotiations that they didn't counter with something that they would have told the newspapers. But
so what happens now?
Well, he says he's going to sit out the year. Maybe he tempts free agent. I think they'll get a deal done. Tell him to take the $32 million. I'll give him the Playtex phone number, and they'll make him $45 million a year.
Well, and the other thing too, of course, he wants to be. You mentioned Mr. Mike Trout, who makes $6 million a year, and he feels like he needs that. He feels like he should have that kind of money. And in all honesty, he is playing in New York. The Yankees are much bigger than the Anaheim or Los Angeles Angels, whatever you want to call them. And so, to me, you got to kind of look at it that way also. But on the other hand, $30 million in New York, plus the endorsements
that's right,
don't get in Anaheim, it's a pretty good deal.
For the, I remember. Well, I'm not going to out our friend Mike Torres, but I'll let him tell the story someday how he played for the Yankees a couple of years and then played for Boston for 5. And he said, biggest mistake I ever made, because there's life after baseball with the Yankees. The Yankees, not that these guys are going to need any money after they retire, but, the Yankees keep you current and relevant even after you retire. And I hope he makes the right decision. Or, in fairness to him, maybe he wants to go home to California like Freddie Freeman did, and maybe that's where he wants to go. And that's fair, too. You know what I mean? I don't mind me. I guess $35 million in Orange County would be okay, Yeah,
I mean, listen, the bottom line is nowadays, the kind of money these guys are making, they have the power to decide where they want to be. We didn't have that kind of power in the day. We went where we were told.
You did what you told him. Hey, there was a speaking of California, another slap in California in your little there. The Lakers had enough. They just fired their head coach, or they're about to fire their head coach, and that poor guy got slapped around by LeBron and half of the veterans on that team. Nobody respected him. Nobody gave him any chance of surviving.
It's one of those things you knew with the year of the Lakers not making the playoffs. You knew something was going to happen, and unfortunately, LeBron's got way too much power there that they're not going to get rid of the players.
Of course,
the coach is the one that suffers. And I really think what happened was Russell Westbrook came over, and him and Vogel did not get along at all.
No, they barely even talked.
And but it's also the one thing that you talk about numbers. Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, and LeBron played 20 games together this year. That's it.
I know.
And they were still only 500 when they played together.
Well, it was like Hardaway and Irving and Durant. Somebody had to go because they were pulling the same crap.
And Frank Vogel was already, talking about it, saying, "Hey, listen, this isn't my fault. You can't put Russell Westbrook and LeBron James on the floor at the same time because LeBron's not going to stand around and watch Westbrook, and Westbrook's not going to stand around and watch LeBron."
Exactly.
So that's their biggest thing. And you talk about somebody, other players. They needed to find somebody like the Brooklyn Nets are doing right now, trying to get Ben Simmons back because Ben Simmons doesn't want the ball. Ben Simmons is a great defender. Ben Simmons is, and if he comes back and he's able to play 15 to 20 minutes during these playoffs, you're going to see the Brooklyn Nets in a whole different atmosphere.
I agree with you, but get off, man. Complete your uniform on and get out there and give it a run. But you're listening to the Big 8 Radio. 727-518-0820 with Jimmy Leyritz, the King, Tommy Setner, and Robin Delory. Robin, we went to our first Yankee game opening weekend against those ugly Red Sox. We had a few Red Sox fans in front of us, and my daughter, Jimmy, leaned over and she said, "Dad, there's a few Red Sox fans here, and they're sometimes louder." I said, "Honey, when your father was growing up and was your age, if you wore a Red Sox shirt to Yankee Stadium or a hat, you might not walk out. But now it's a friendlier Yankee Stadium, and it was nice." But Robin, before we do the Robin rundown, Jimmy's going to go to work tonight, the last half hour at Yankee Stadium. We did have a little pickle of a problem there, didn't we, last night in our beautiful seats?
Yeah, we really did. I don't want to sound ungrateful, but I've got a lot to say. All right. So we finally get to our seats, and they're beautiful, right?
Great.
We're like, wow.
Thank you, Yankees, for that, Corey. Thank you, Corey.
I didn't even need to like bundle up and just spend $100 on a scarf and mittens and a hat.
But we did. Outside of stands. I took Robin to stands for the first time, Jimmy. I don't know if she was
I went there for the first time. That was fun. Actually, I said to Tommy, I said, when I was their age, because they were all younger, I didn't enjoy this because it was just so packed like sardines. I didn't enjoy it when I was their age. So, but it was like a rite of passage for him to take me there, and I was grateful. So then we get up to the Audi suites, and I'm so excited because we
don't want to act spoiled. We're in a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Right. But
how does anyone watch a game? Are you ready for this? On a 42-second delay. It was awful. I couldn't enjoy it because I didn't know what was going on. So you're already not with the energy that the live people outside in the atmosphere. You're already not feeling that chemistry, which is fine. I would rather not feel that chemistry and be warm, but you can't even know what's happening in real time. And then on top of it, to add insult to injury, here we are thinking we are completely safe from Mother Nature. And all of a sudden, no joke, there was a drip, and then another drip, and it was raining on Tommy's head.
Yeah, it was.
There was a pristine ceiling, but right above Tommy's head was a leak that kept dropping, and you never knew when it was going to drop. Like you're anticipating like it dropping, and there it goes again. It was. So you know what I did though, because I always make lemonade out of lemons. I drank more, and it just didn't bother me as much.
Oh, that's good. I'm sure I saw it on the bill. So Jimmy, you told me there's a 5-second delay usually. Five is okay. 40-something seconds. So Coney's talking. They go to commercial. And the game's still going on. It was like insanity. I was trying to watch the game and not listen, but I enjoy Cone, and you want to listen. But boy, I saw.
But like on a serious note, not that I would want to do it to complain, but like, shouldn't the management know about that? Like, wouldn't they want to know?
It was the ESPN game, Jimmy? Was it that because it was ESPN's game? Is it a different feed or?
Yeah, I think that's probably what it was because, in the suites, it's about a 5-second delay.
Right.
So that maybe what it would have been if like on a normal day, 5 seconds.
Yeah. Honestly, all good. Yankees kicked ass for 2 games. Left what, Jimmy? 18 people on base last night. It was pathetic. Left so many guys on base. They should have swept the Red Sox. But I could care less. I had my baby girl there, and this as your kids get older, you don't get to see them as much when they're in college. And her 4 friends, like I said, Robin took them and got them Yankee hats and Mickey Mantle shirts. They were beaming. Of course, this generation, all they do is TikTok or whatever it's called and taking pictures of each other. But so I didn't get much conversation in. But just her being shoulder to shoulder with me was a beautiful night.
It was. We brought our brooms with us, and I flew it home. I flew on it at home.
A good one, right?
Yeah, thanks for the.
But speaking of the Yankees, Tampa, because we are Tampa based, and we're a Tampa radio station, and we love Tampa. And speaking to our listeners in Tampa, 727-518-0820. We're not forgetting about your Rays. Jimmy and I are rooting for your Rays. We do a lot of Yankee talk because, let's be honest, Tampa's so nice, and Clearwater and St. Pete is so nice that everybody from New York and New Jersey moved down there. But we're going to go to break in 2 minutes. But, Jimmy, how about the first female manager in Tampa in the Yankees organization? What's the scuttlebutt going around Yankees? They must be pretty proud of that. And she's squared away. She knows what she's doing. Let's not do a chick guy thing here. She knows what she's doing.
Well, she got her first victory, which was great. Unfortunately, she sometimes still has to figure out how to get out of the way of the ball.
Well, she said she's managing. She ain't playing.
She was hit. As she was participating, trying to be like the coaches, she got hit in the face and missed a week. But
oh no!
Yeah.
But like I said, I think it's it's the sign of the times. It's what we're going through now, and I don't know. I don't know. I'm not too old school that I don't think that it's a great thing, but I'm also not too new school that think, okay, is this something that really is going to work? And is the game changed to a point where, because it's so run by the front office and run by the sabermetric teams, is the manager just in place to be a conduit instead of really the person that controls the game?
I agree. When we come back, 727-518-0820, Tampa calls. Let us know how you feel.
introduce to you at this time?
The King and the Cop.
Okay, hit it!
Let's get back to the show.
What are they talking about?
Oh, well, we're talking about today where we always try to keep an upbeat, but, you know, you're listening to the Big 8, 727-518-0820. Little sad news, Jimmy. A couple things going on. And at the 5 o'clock hour, we'll do a little rundown with you for 30 minutes, MLB. We'll touch everybody so our 5 o'clock listeners can join in on that. But, you know, Dwayne Haskins, Steelers quarterback, Ohio State, great. And here's the thing that kind of makes the hair on my neck stand up. He's a Jersey kid. He was from Highland Park, Middlesex, New Jersey, and for whatever reason, nothing bad that he did, he was out in Florida. He's training with his buddies and gets out of his vehicle, tries, I think it's I-595, Jimmy. I don't know. I'm not familiar with it, but I shouldn't have said
that's
that.
my area. I know exactly.
All right, so I am right. And I'm not even going to say what kind of vehicle hit him because it's an ugly death. But 24 years old, snuffed out.
Well, it sounds like, Tommy, what they said is he was on his way to the airport and he ran out of gas. And it was early in the morning and I guess he was walking back.
Right.
And it was, they said like 6:30-ish, which if you figure it out, that was probably still dark, still kind of not light yet. And that's how an accident can happen. And it's unfortunate. And, you know, I haven't seen any more reports that said there's anything, nobody was charged with anything, you know, but he was down there working out with a couple guys. You know, there's a ton in Fort Lauderdale. There is a ton of former players that train down there during the wintertime, the off season. And it's just one of those, you know, you just got to pray it was something, an accident and not something that, you know, why he was out there roaming around the highway.
Well, it sounds like it was. And sometimes it is just that, an accident. You know, I left at 4 o'clock in the morning the other day to go to Tampa Airport, 4:30 in the morning. And I walked to my car, which was a couple blocks away. It's in the garage and nothing good happens after midnight. You know, people are tired and sometimes it's an innocent mistake and an accident, but needlessly, this young man has passed at 24 years old, and the Steeler City's mourning him because, as you know, not that we give a crap about football when something like this happens, but Big Ben retired. So this kid was excited about what future might be ahead for him. So, you know, God rest his soul, as they say. And I just, bad luck, man. Just an accident.
Prayers and condolences, of course, to the family. And you just got to pray that, you know, that's why we appreciate every day that we have here.
Yeah, I agree. You're listening to the Big 8, Jimmy Leyritz, Tommy Setner, and Robin Delory, 727-518-0820.
So, guys,
Yeah.
I wanted to just ask you or just give you my opinion on this manager thing. Because obviously as a woman, I think it is unbelievable. I think it's great. At the same time, change is weird. And I just want to tell you what my thought process was. I'm going to be honest. My thought process is, but I just want to take you through my head for a second.
I wasn't making. I'm just saying,
fine.
like, did you find out
so
something new
at first, I didn't like it, right? Because I was like, we don't have to do everything men do, and you don't have to do everything we do. Yeah. Like, we don't. And then I thought about the fact that does every manager in baseball have to had played the sport? I think they should have. I think every single manager should be somebody that has played the sport, maybe not professionally, but played the sport, college level, or, you know,
Jimmy.
Yeah. Is that a prereq? It obviously isn't a prereq, but most of the managers are baseball players.
Usually back in the day, before sabermetrics, before the Yale student who never went to even saw a field, is now the pitching coach. It's a little bit different nowadays, but yeah, I mean, for me, listen, if you're going to run it like the stock market, and use these numbers and use all these things, you can have a successful, possibly, team. But when you want to win championships, when you want to get down to it, if this guy from Yale walks out to my pitcher in the World Series and tries to tell my pitcher what he's feeling and how to get out of this,
Yeah.
it has never been there before. And I'm not saying that you have to be in a World Series to know what it feels like, but you had to have played the game at some point.
So we agree with that. So I am complete in agreement. But if we have that situation going on right now, and that is our kind of new normal, then I say, why the hell can't a woman do it?
Yeah,
Because she can.
But
right?
I always
What's the difference?
I have 3 daughters, so I don't know that the term I'm allowed to say this because I have 3 daughters, but I'm going to say it. I don't like girls playing baseball, little league baseball. I think that's a bunch of crap.
Well, little league's cute. When it gets like a little older.
Why? Go play softball. I mean, where's the tradition? And I'm not saying she shouldn't be able to.
This is a good conversation.
She shouldn't be able to manage. I'm not saying that, but I agree. I'll talk out of both sides of my mouth. I think it's great. And I think she's capable. And I think she could do the job. But give me a break when she walks out there, like Jimmy says, and say, I want to know, Jimmy, where did Rizzo?
But my point is
Rob,
this Yale guy he's talking about?
You're right, Rob. Rizzo said something to the Yankee pitcher the other day to calm him down. And it changed. The kid said, as soon as Rizzo told me, hey, this happened to me when I was young, blah, 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 blah. You got this. That's your point.
Yeah.
That's still needed when you get in the huddle. When even the NFL is introducing these coaches, young coaches now that didn't play the game. But, man, I want Tom Brady walking there going, guys, I was here 3 years ago. Don't worry about a damn thing. We're going down the field. We got this.
100%. I'm just saying if that is not where we're going with it and you're having a Yale guy who is running numbers and he's walking out to the mound, then what's the difference if it's a woman?
Yeah, I agree with Jimmy. I can say it because I'm not going to manage or coach. You have to be a little more politically correct. Not that you've never not told it like it is. It's a bunch of crap. It really is. I mean, you still need that grizzly old veteran somewhere on the bench, that Don Zimmer, Joe Torre relationship that just has 50 years experience in the game. And I will say there's a little crack in the door to better the game with this cybermetrics and everything else. And it doesn't matter if it's a Yale female or male. But, man, do we just have to whitewash everybody out now and bring in all these little experts?
So all this money, why can't they have 2 then? Why can't it just be like a supplemental position? Why does it have to take over the way it used to be? Because let me tell you something. If somebody who had never been on the stage before and never sang a note and has never had to do that gets a job because she or he figured out how, mathematically my voice could sustain, I don't know, whatever. If somebody did that and I would say, are you kidding? How am I going to take you seriously? You've never even, you can't even hold a note if it was in a paper bag.
So how am I going to take you seriously? New technology, can they put me in a studio and make me sound like Tony Bennett?
100%.
But how would I be looked upon as?
Well,
a fraud.
Yeah.
And she's not a fraud.
No.
She's put her time.
My point was not that. These are 2 separate issues now. Jimmy is saying that, and we're all in agreement with this. Like you need to take somebody seriously because they've lived it, the blood, sweat, tears. Then you can yell at me and you can make me better and stronger because I know you've been in my spot before, or maybe in bigger spots. But I'm going to have so much respect for you because you get exactly what I'm feeling.
I'm going to say. I'm going to throw you a pitch, Jimmy. How many times did you walk out to the mountain with some veterans and they said, turn around? They didn't even want you telling them what to do, right? Never mind a manager or a pitching coach that went to high school and college and thinks he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, listen, I get what we're at right now, and it's the new norm.
Mm-hmm.
But, I look at it at 2 different sides. I look at it from the male side going, women fought for so long to have their own sports, to have their own teams, because they didn't want to compete on the field with the males because it wasn't fair.
That's right.
We're going to find out right now with the Staten Island Independent League team, the Fairies, Red Fairies.
What?
They just signed their first female minor league player to pitch for them this season.
No way.
It was just on the MLB network. She was being interviewed. She's the first woman to ever play professional baseball.
She could throw that fast?
Yeah, well, we're going to find out. And we're going to find out if she can compete on that level. Now, again, the point is, I understand that kind of because there isn't professional female baseball. There isn't a place for Rachel to go manage a professional baseball team. So if she has the knowledge and she has the ability to do it, this is really her only avenue. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you see some of these girls now in football. There's no female football NFL. So I get that. There is the WNBA. So if you're a woman, you want to coach, you can go to the WNBA. You don't have to go to the NBA.
But it doesn't get half of the hoopla and the respect that the men do. So, that's another issue.
You're both right, but I'm going to get a verbal beating from my 3 daughters. There's something about baseball that I like when I turn on. I don't like this, but it's baseball. When the old guy takes his helmet off and he might spin in it like Munson, and then he may scratch something or adjust something.
It's a man's sport.
Because it's a man's sport.
He spits out that disgusting crap in his mouth.
Right. Scratches his, squirrel
And you know what,
nuts,
Tommy? That's okay that you feel that way. Like, enough. Like, if you feel that way, it's fine.
Well, we're fighting so hard for
Listen, I will tell you this much.
How about the transgender swimming, Jimmy, that you got a big...
With a female manager,
yeah,
they'll be much more organized.
Oh, no,
yeah. Who don't know that?
Well, there's exceptions to the rule, but pretty much.
Speaking of organized,
oh God,
this is driving me crazy.
Oh,
and
God.
Because it's bothering me because we all lost a lot of people to this. Dr. Fauci, I don't even want to make fun of him. Will you please stand up? It's like a Saturday Night Live skit. They need to put a little stool for him to stand on there. And now you're going to tell me I get to assess, all Americans get to assess this COVID disease.
He gave up. He's like,
Uncle, I don't want to play anymore.
Totally.
Will you please retire? I mean, really? Or somebody tell us the truth. And for God's sakes, I'm saying this to the New York media and all the media, keep this creep Hunter Biden off the front page of the paper and news. Indict his ass already or move on. Holy mackerel. Enough with this clown. I got to see this junkie's face every time I turn on the TV.
All right, I'm going to comment on the first part.
Okay.
Go ahead.
With Mr. Fauci, I actually really like what he said because now he's put it in perspective that this is no different than the flu. We have a vaccination if you need it, if you feel compromised, if you want to protect yourself. We have the ability to do that. But guess what? You really don't need it because we can all get it.
Yeah.
It's finally the truth is out there that really what this is all about.
Well, guess who's got it right now, Jimmy? Guess who's got it right now?
Of course.
Mayor Adams. Mayor Adams has got it now. So he's been walking around, and I love Mayor Adams. I think Mayor Adams is going to get the city back to where it should be. But I watch him walking around saying kids still got to keep a mask on. And this poor guy's out there 24/7 doing his job. He don't have a mask on. Guess what? Now he's
But
quarantined.
his point was never about that. It was about helping one another.
I'm just saying, what's the real truth?
It was about selflessly doing it for the others. Like if I have a better immune system, that's fine. That I can fight it off. But I'm going to get vaccinated for my mother, or so forth and so on. That's the point.
Yeah, but I just took what Fauci said that says, hey, listen, there isn't a true answer. We don't have the right answers. We tried to figure it out. We got a vaccination that can protect you because it is working to a point on some people. And now you have that choice. And I love that fact that
you're
now
right. But is that going to be
have to make a law or martial law?
Yeah.
Now you can just say, hey, here's the technology. Here's what we have. Use it or don't use it.
The problem
Tommy,
was before, Jimmy, because this is like a little too late. There's been so much bad misinformation that it is dangerous. I just saw this article about a man that was talking about his father that he lost 2 weeks ago to COVID. And it was because he was getting misinformation. And we as Americans should have had one truth this whole time.
Yeah, well,
and
America's not like that anymore. Where everybody's got to fight everybody.
But it was
this
negligent.
Should have been bipartisan.
That's
You're
negligence.
100% right.
That was fatal to many people having the wrong information, and we deserve the truth.
We're going to break. Call us at 727-518-0820. We're going about 45 seconds. We'll go to break. We'll come back on the 5 o'clock hour, and we're going to get back to some MLB games this past weekend. But, the reason we're talking about this horrible virus, Jimmy's right. Now they finally, one thing they got it under control, and supposedly they got it under control. But I know last night I felt a little uncomfortable. I got
Seriously,
girl leaning
where
over
was
me,
COVID last
breathing
night?
on my food.
The lines to get in, we were like all making out.
No COVID, but
It's like ridiculous.
It's a double. So be consistent, America. God bless America.
It's too late for that.
But we'll try harder. When we come back, Jimmy Leyritz, Tommy Setner, Robin DeLorean, a 5 o'clock hour drive time. We'll get back and touch base our subjects. And we're going to look forward to 5:30.
Oh my God, I can't
Robin's
wait.
rundown. She's going to be in a pickle. And we're going to, Lisa Marie Falbo is going to join us. Like, say hello.
You did. You did.
All right. We'll be back on the Big 8 in a couple minutes. 727-518-0820.
Time to get back to the show. The King and the Cop continues with Tommy, Jimmy, and Robin.
You're listening to the Big Eight. Jimmy Leyritz, Tommy Setner, Robin Delory. Never gets old. Take me back to the ball game. Just never gets old. I didn't want to leave yesterday. I don't ever want to come back because I had my little baby girl there with me last night.
Your hair was soaking wet.
Yeah. But we're going to kick it around in the MLB a little bit. I got to tell you this, Jimmy. The funny part is with the social media, you were in one suite, you're doing autographs and meeting people, and all of a sudden I get a picture, and it's Ronnie from Caffeine and Water. Where are you at? And the next thing you know, we're together. Where's Jimmy at? And Big Joe is still recovering from his back surgery, but we spent some time with Ronnie and had a good time with him and caught up. And, he's a big Yankee fan. And he said, we got to get Caffeine and Water. I think half of Fordham, after I sent some to Brett, will be drinking caffeine and water every morning.
Especially before finals.
But, Jimmy, a couple things I wanted to mention in the MLB world, and I'll start with this. Speaking of aforementioned friend Joe from Caffeina, Mets looked awful feisty. I haven't seen any action when Buck ran out of that dugout to fight the team by himself. They best get behind him, and they did. And it was a whole different temperature for the Mets. And that was fun to see, watching a real general, and that's what I'll call him. Buck was like a general and ran out there. What were your thoughts when you saw that? I kind of got like a little choked up. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that Buck is, it's a different Buck Showalter than when he first came into the big leagues, and he's able to stand up and do more things. And I think it's great because Lindor is a key player to this team. And the fact that he ran out like that, every guy on that Mets team is going to be thankful. Yeah. And they're going to play harder for a guy like that than they would somebody that didn't have their back. And I think it's they started off 3-1 with Washington. And I think, with Scherzer not being 100%, with DeGrom being out, it could have gone bad. It could have been 1-3 right now. And everybody in the Mets fans all jumping off, the bridge.
And Washington's not that strong, but still the Mets sent a message that if anything, there's some unity there, even with all these new superstars. It's nice that Mr. Cohen's going out and buying players and putting a strong team. But Buck, it wasn't about money yesterday. He's like, we're a team, man. We're a team in the dugout, in the locker room. And that came across. Another one, Pete Alonso wears one right in the grill, for God's sakes. I love Pete Alonso. I know that he does a lot for charity. But I think what you're going to see is Buck, and this is your expertise. I'm feeding it to you. 7th, 8th inning, you're going to have a major decision to make because couldn't hide Pete Alonso at first base yesterday. So they might have to have a defensive replacement for him late in the innings if they're up 1 or 2.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. I didn't watch him play much last year because I wasn't up here that much. I don't know if this was just a bad game or if this is something that he's done in the past, that he hasn't been such a great fielder. But I will tell you that Buck will be the first one. If there is a situation like this, it continues, he will come in with defensive replacements late in the game. He has no problem doing that.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I went out to the opening day for the Rockies, double purpose there, baseball and law enforcement. And I joked about it earlier in the show. And to our listeners in the 5 o'clock hour, Jimmy Leyritz, Tommy Setner, and Robin Delory, the King and the Cop live. Call us 727-518-0820. Russell Wilson, new Denver Broncos quarterback. Man, oh man, you would have thought he was John Elway. They went nuts when he walked out on the mound to throw the first pitch. And then he tells Chris Bryant, basically gives him with the hand motion, I'm bringing it. And he did. I know he was drafted, I think, by the Yankees. Did the Yankees draft him? Who drafted him as a baseball player?
Who, Russell Wilson, the Yankees?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Yankees.
Yankees. Well, as in John Elway was also drafted by the Yankees. I remember.
Yes,
But Russell Wilson, he threw a P to Chris Bryant for the honorary first pitch, and then they had the flyover. It was a beautiful day.
Your Peacocks threw out the first pitch yesterday.
Good point, Robin. St. Peter's was there yesterday. Rudy, and they threw out the pitch. I guess when you make it to the Elite Eight, you get to go in Yankee Stadium now.
There's one correction for Russell Wilson. He was drafted by the Colorado Rockies in the 4th round, 140th overall of the 2010 MLB draft originally.
Right.
Played 32 games at second base for the Tri-Cities Sun Devils that year in Class A.
Good stuff, Matty. So you got me pitching out there that he's a Yankee and he's a hometown boy throwing out the first
Wait
pitch.
a minute, the football player?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, the Broncos quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's like my children. They can do everything, football and baseball.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of your children, Michael and I watched a minute of the game. He blessed me with his presence. And again, we talked about the Trout home run. Jimmy, you get to see him every day. But Michael made a good point. Even though we have every damn possible MLB network and this and that, and you can watch any game, it doesn't feel the same because at 11 o'clock, they got school, they're in bed, and these guys are still playing out on the West Coast. So you don't get to see Mike Trout the way we get to see our New York guys or our Tampa guys. But again, Mike Trout, just an absolute stud. But you're going to see a stud tonight. We went to see the Blue Jays, and they're coming to Yankee Stadium tonight. And Guerrero hit one 467 feet over the weekend. I mean, this kid, he's pushing up against his father early on in his career, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, this kid's, he's. It looks like he's turned his game up even just another notch compared to what he did last year, and that's kind of scary because he put up some pretty big numbers last year. I'm excited. I'm going to the game tonight, and I'm excited to see this team. It's it's the division right now is wide open, and any of these top 4 teams, including the Red Sox, have an opportunity, and I'm looking forward to going to the game tonight.
Yeah, it's for a minute because we got spring break and the kids are off here. It's interesting. Without further ado, Matt, do we have somebody on the phone?
We do indeed.
Is this what is he called? End Zone Filippo?
Yeah,
Flip, you on the phone?
Yeah, what's up?
Well, what do you mean, what's up? I mean, Robin's son is on the phone. You threaten me and Jimmy all the time that we got to talk about the Mets. We're talking about the Mets. How did it feel with Buck as the manager? Did you feel different watching him as a fan? I know you're an obsessed fan.
I was actually going to say this before you asked it, but this year it just kind of feels different being a Mets fan. Like there's just a different feeling to it. With everything, with our manager, with our new guys, we're actually hitting with runners in scoring position, hitting with 2 outs. It just feels really different than usual.
Well, Jimmy, when you say, Buck set the tone in spring training, they're going to play the game a little different.
Yeah, we'll see. Listen, it's early, and it's a long season, and I just Tommy, we talked about it when Buck got hired there. I thought it was a great hire, and I think he's going to make some difference there.
I do too. But, Mike, let's not get crazy. It was the Nationals. It wasn't like they were playing the Dodgers or the Braves.
Yeah, I'll give you that. That's fair.
Yeah, but the Phillies don't look awful either, Mike.
With this series coming up.
And what are you thinking?
I don't know. It's going to be tough. We don't have the best pitching matchups against the Phillies, especially with their bats. It's going to be a tough one, but we'll see where the team's at after these 3 games.
All right. Well, Jimmy, since you saw Michael last, he committed to Delaware. He's going to continue his career out there. So, and he's on fire right now. I'm not allowed to talk about anything he does, but he's on fire in the baseball world.
You can ask him what he wants for dinner.
No, I'm not asking what he wants. Thanks for calling in, young man. I will see you tonight. We will watch one of the games together.
Sounds good. I'll see you.
Love you.
No, you know what it is, Jimmy? That's true, and it's Robin's son, but it is the feeling, and I know they're getting overexcited. Everybody, Met fans, getting overexcited. But you could feel a little difference. And I think it was that fight, man. I really do. I think no fists were thrown, but he went out there and said, screw you. You're not hitting one of my guys and then hitting another one of my guys. Actually, one of them were hit with a curveball, and he was still ready to fight everybody, which I loved. I thought it was great. You know, what do you think of tonight's matchup with the Yankees?
You know what? I haven't even looked at the pitching matchup tonight.
All right.
So,
I didn't look at. I bailed out on you. I didn't look at it either myself. But Yankee bats got to. It's early in the season too. But I'll tell you somebody who drives me a little bit crazy, Jimmy, and he drives me crazy since he's on the team. Aaron Hicks. I just don't feel him. I just don't feel it. I don't know why. I just. I don't know. I think he's talented, switch hitting, love it, but I just feel like he's never gets the big hit. And on that note, I'm asking you a question. I'm not asking you to weigh in on that. Brett Gardner. Did they miss Brett Gardner?
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
It was pretty much done. But I will say I don't think Aaron Hicks is the answer. Even more so, Joey Gallo is pathetic.
Oh, my God. Hey, can they strip number 13 off his back? Robin was offended.
I know. I was like, did this guy not serving his number correctly?
Said they stole Jimmy's number.
I mean, can you run into one? Can you run into one? For goodness sakes. I don't get it. You know, I don't know. What are they going to do there? Soto?
Yeah, I don't. Listen, they're going to give him. You know, again, it's early, and I get it, but you know, it's you get kind of excited in spring training because he had a pretty decent spring, and then all of a sudden you get to the point where, you know, opening day you strike out the first 3 times, and the worst part about it, Tommy, you weren't even near the ball.
No, I know he's not close.
You know, and that's the more concerning part. I can see if you're facing the number 1, number 2 starters, you know, you're getting the best pitchers, but you're also going to get those pitchers at the end of the year too.
Is this an Ed Whitson situation? Is this a New York thing?
But no, he struck out 200-something times with the Texas Rangers too. So.
Yeah, it's true. But not everybody's like, you loved it. You loved New York. You probably couldn't play anywhere else. You probably don't realize that when you look back on it. You needed New York. That's where you loved it. If there were 60,000 people, that was better for you. But there's some people that come there and they just pee their pants. They can't go out there and perform. It's just that simple. I don't know. I think you're right. He struck out 200 times in Texas, but my God, you got the right field porch. Run into one, dude, run into one. In batting practice, you're hitting them onto the trains. I just don't get it. But
tonight's pitching matchup is Alex Manoah, coming off an impressive rookie year last year, 9-2 with a 3.22.
Yeah, he looked good.
Another young up-and-coming is Jameson Taillon for the Yankees, who was 8-6 with a 4.3 last year. So a matchup of 2 pretty young pitchers, and we'll see what happens tonight.
Got decent weather. You know, in that first inning, that ball that Judge got robbed, a home run, that's a home run in a couple months. The cold air and all that held that up. But, you know, and that's the other thing, Jimmy, before you leave for the day. Aaron Judge has got to kind of get off a hot start because the average, let me strike that. The New York fan just hears one thing: you turned down $213 million. Not only that, but you don't want to be with us. That's the way they feel. He gets off to a bad start, they'll get right in his head.
Absolutely. That's one of the things of playing in New York. If you don't perform, it doesn't matter who you are or what you are. They booed Jeter in the first 2 months of the season. You know, back in, I think, 2010, they were booing him after winning all those World Series and being.
I mean, we're tough. We're not like Philly fans who are bombing Santa Claus with snowballs, but we're tough here in New York, New Jersey. But one other thing, I'm glad to see him continue to be hot. And he is you want to talk about Mike Trout in uniform and another specimen. Stanton's red hot. This guy, it looks so bad on one pitch and then hit the ball to New Jersey on the next pitch. It's amazing to me. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a player played with a player that looked that bad on a pitch and then hit the next one 450 feet?
Very rarely. Steve Balboni is the only one I can think of.
Steve Balboni. Oh, my goodness.
But no, I think, like I said, if Stanton and Judge can stay healthy, if Gallo can even touch the ball, much less strike out every time, the Yankees have a good club. They have a strong team. But I think on your point about Aaron Hicks, I don't think he's the answer.
Yeah.
I don't know either, Tommy, because I'm not in that locker room.
Right.
I don't know if he's 100% healthy.
We're going to go to break, and we're going to say in 2 minutes, and we're going to say goodbye to Jimmy. He's going to get out to Yankee Stadium, and Robin and I will take it for there. Call 727-518-0820 on the Big 8. Before you go, Jimmy, in a minute, let's give the Rays a little love. Pitching looks strong. They look strong. They're the only undefeated team in baseball. Granted, they played Baltimore, who's just a pathetic organization at this point. I'm not saying the players are. I'm saying the organization. They just can't seem to get it going. But Tampa's pitching looks strong again.
Yes, Tampa looks good. And again, they're just that typical team that, is you don't expect anything from them, and they continue to give it to you, especially if you're a fan. But yeah, I think, like I said, I don't know. It's a long year. You can't judge the first month of the season because
agreed.
We're coming off with a short spring training and everything else. One thing though, Tommy, I was interested to hear. Did you hear this? That Mark Lerner, the owner of the Nationals, has been has hired an Allen and Company out of New York to explore the possibility of selling his $450 million investment that he made in 2006, which today is worth over $2 billion.
Jeez.
So I have a feeling that he's searching for either investors, or they might be moving this team possibly because of all the legality things that are going on with Baltimore. This could be the Nashville Senators.
Or Ludlow. They want baseball down. But all right, brother, keep in touch with me tonight at the game. Tomorrow when we come on, we got to talk about the Dodgers. Thank you to the Rockies. They put me nice and up and close to watch that game. And their starting pitcher, the Dodgers, not Bauer. Who pitched, Jimmy? I don't want to say Trevor Bauer. The other, their number one. Yeah.
Have fun, Jimmy.
Jimmy, let me tell you something. That kid can throw. It's
Yes.
unbelievable. He can throw.
And he's big into the horses. I went to the Belmont with him.
You did?
Yeah.
Interesting.
The Belmont Tavern?
No.
The Belmont race.
And speaking of that, me and you went one year and we did pretty good, if you remember.
Yes, we did.
Have fun tonight, pal.
Have
Keep
fun.
in touch, and we'll see you. Come back. Little Robin rundown. She's going to be in a pickle. 727-518-0820. You're listening to the Big 8.
Tell them to figure out that delay for me for next time.
We got you.
Yes.
King and the Cop.
Welcome back to the King and the Cop, 727-518-0820. Jimmy Leyritz is on his way to the Yankee Blue Jay game, and he'll give us a little report for tomorrow for that. So that leaves me and my girlfriend here, my wife, Robin DeLorean. In a couple minutes, we're going to do a little Robin rundown, which they call a pickle in baseball. But
I call it monkey in the middle.
well, you would because you're a Met fan, but it's called a pickle. And
Remember when you were kids? It was
yes, I do. How'd you enjoy last night's game? Now, all kidding aside.
What game? I wasn't even there. I mean, I could not be present. Well, I don't know what to say. I enjoyed seeing your daughter, your beautiful daughter. I loved meeting her delightful friends. The food was great. The spirits
What
were
about
great. Stan's was, you don't ever have to take me there again, but thank you. I love how you're really cute like that. You always take me to these great, fun, different things.
Stan or Stosh.
With that being said, you don't ever have to take me there again.
Okay.
But as far as the actual game,
Yeah.
I am trying. Listen to me carefully. I am really trying to be present in this whole sports world
Well, you have no
because
choice. It's your job.
if you can't beat them, you join them, right?
Right.
And so, like, you remember when I went to that Lightning Bolts game, the Bolts
Yeah, you
Lightning
were into
Thunder?
it. You were into it.
Totally into it. I totally was into it. But that was because I was in it and we were there with the, high-fiving and the fan that we got, all that kind of stuff. But how can I watch a baseball game when literally I'm watching the ninth inning and the first inning is being, spoken about?
All right.
Like literally, I
agree
was
with you.
listening to a completely different game. That's how much the delay was. It put me in a bad mood, and then you got literally dripped on your head because there was a leak right above you for some reason, like nobody else but you, and that kind of stuff. Like literally, I have to have this inner dialogue, like say, Robin, don't let this ruin your night. You know what I mean? So that's just basically, because I think like how much money, this is a lot of money.
All right. Somebody's going to back you up right now. Ronnie's on the phone from Caffeina.
Oh, hey, Ron.
Unfortunately, he's not. The call just dropped literally as I was getting ready to put him on the air.
All right. Well, if he comes back, we'll talk about him. He's probably calling to back up his friend Robin here last night because he was with us. I just saw something disturbing, breaking news.
He was standing right next to you and a raindrop ricocheted onto him.
It wasn't a big deal to me. It was at Yankee Stadium. I was tickled pink.
Oh, see, now this is what you do. You make it like I'm ungrateful.
I said right to you last night. It was no big deal.
I know, but you're making me sound like I'm ungrateful
No,
for
you're,
like.
you're making yourself sound ungrateful.
All right, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't even care.
But let me see something.
I mean, I just literally, you asked me about my experience and I told you. And if you want me to be like, oh, everything's great, everything's fine,
right.
I'm not going to do that.
You're done because this ain't New Jersey Housewives. I just saw something
Really?
that is disturbing.
What?
News. Philadelphia just mandated that you have to wear a mask inside again. The city of Philadelphia.
Just now? You just heard this now?
Just now.
Well, I guess we won't be going to Philly.
You think it was because I said they bombed Santa Claus with snowballs? I don't like Philly fans anyway. How about that?
See, like this
Call
is
me at 727-518.
this is what I'm talking about. There's no consistency.
Philly. Yeah, there's no consistency.
Yeah, 727-518-0820. You have to call and you have to be on my side if you call.
Even if
I'm
you're
just
from
kidding.
Philadelphia. but I just don't understand it. And by the way, and there are a ton of people down in Clearwater listening to this show.
Family members right now.
Who's down there?
The Philippones.
Oh, Uncle Mike's down there. Uncle Mike. And yeah, they're down in Clearwater. Beautiful Clearwater. But yeah, I don't understand. I by the way, I'm 100%. I said this to you last night. I'm joking with you and I'm kidding around. You go to a ballpark. Yes, I was grateful. Thank you to the Yankees. Great seats, great night with my daughter and everything. But I owned a professional baseball team. And if somebody came up to me and said, sir, they're not that I deserve to be called sir, but that we're in the suites and it's a 40-second delay, I would be bat you know what, crazy that my fans were uncomfortable. The drop was just a freak of thing.
Yeah, no, don't worry about the drop.
But that to listen,
10 drops.
We couldn't focus on the game.
Yeah,
we
I know.
Couldn't focus on the game. You know, Ronnie's back on hold. Ronnie, you there?
I'm here. I got you.
What, you want to back Robin up? I mean, she just didn't like there was a drip on her head and that 40-second delay. What did you think about that? Like you're trying. Coney's talking, but he's 45 seconds on the ESPN game, and the inning's over, and he's still talking about the batter before.
Yeah, no, it's annoying. What you don't realize in the suite is you get two different screens. The people that are watching the game and the people that are watching the TV. So you're, and then 40 seconds later,
Right.
Exactly. It's still Yankee Stadium, brother. It was still fun to be there, though, right?
Oh, it was great to see you guys last night. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was
You
good to see
too.
you. Should the Yankees, they were flat in the late game. Should we send them some caffeine and put it in the locker room or what? Leyritz is on his way.
Well, you got to send a picture out on all your internet sites of all the girls wearing the Mickey Mantle shirts. That looks so great.
Oh yeah, they looked adorable.
Ronnie, you took that picture. Thank you. That's my daughter and her 4 things. I'm so nutty about. I love everybody's style these days, but I'm a dad who's a veteran dad because I got 2 older daughters, and they looked innocent and cute. But I got to watch every clown that's had too many beers making a comment or look at them last night, so I kept my head down.
Try walking them through the first level to the store. Everybody was like, because they're adorable. But I will say, on the flip side, they save a lot of money because we bought the youth shirts. The price jumps up significantly when you buy adult shirts.
Yeah, but
so they picked 4 youth small.
Ronnie, that's nice, but my grandson's 2 years old in about 4 months, and I think he's wearing 6T already the most. So it cost me more money for him. When are you going back next, Ronnie? When's your next game?
I usually go every 2 weeks, but I wanted to go twice this weekend because it was Boston.
Yeah. The Yankees look good, but they could have. Jimmy and I were talking about Jimmy is on his way to the game now, but I'm not a fan of Aaron Hicks. I just think it just drives me crazy. And Joey Votto, my God, I mean, he can't hit anything. It's awful.
You know what? We always get a big bat before the season starts every year. I just wanted one more pitcher.
I agree.
Great. I'd rather have had a pitcher. Gallo, we signed this person. We needed another pitcher, and hopefully we get it before the deadline this year.
Yeah. All right, bro. Keep in touch. We're going to start playing your commercials tomorrow. We're loving this water, our black cherry water. Now I got half of the University of Fordham getting addicted to it, so it's great stuff. It was better to see you, man. We'll see you soon, pal. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So, yeah, that's the fun thing about going to Yankee Stadium. You're never not going and not running into a friend or a family member there,
Yeah, well, everybody, you always see a familiar face there.
But, me and you were talking on the way there and on the way home. These great stadiums, although the Yankee Stadium's newer, the other old ones across the street, and when I was showing you how Stan's was literally across the street. Now you walk a couple blocks. But when they built these stadiums, the house that Ruth built, people were taking horse and buggies and walking to the stadium.
Right.
It's a damn zoo to get out of.
Yeah. They clearly weren't thinking ahead.
No, it makes you feel like I love it. And then you get in the 7th inning, you go, oh, man.
Yeah.
It's going to take me 2 hours to get home.
And please don't take this the wrong way because you're so adventurous. When I'm your age, I don't mean that in a condescending way. I just mean, I don't think I'm going to have the energy to do that. Like, it's a lot of work. The hustle and bustle, the crowds. It's like,
aren't you the same girl that told me to go get another job so I could take you to Milan for dinner and then fly back?
Yeah. You tell everybody that's what I said. That's exactly what I said.
Well,
go get another job.
What did you say?
So you can buy a private jet and we'll go to Berlin for beer for one night.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's exactly.
All right, whatever.
Adam, what are you laughing at? That's exactly what she said, and you know her.
It is not what I said, and I would be afraid to go on a private jet.
Well, let me tell you something. I'll answer it this way. If I was Aaron Judge, then maybe you need to get back on the market. He's going to have his own private jet because he wants $300 million.
Listen to me. Speaking of familiar faces, I have someone that is familiar to me and to you.
Oh my goodness.
On the call right now, actually on screen too, which is great because she's beautiful, more beautiful than ever. And I'm going to introduce you to her, not you, but Tampa.
But I hope you know what she's got over her left shoulder.
I saw,
right,
but I'm
ahead.
looking at you right now
Yep.
because I wanted to tell you. Author,
Right.
Emmy-winning producer,
Yep.
boss, TV show host, wife, and her best job as of today,
Mommy.
She is a wonderful human being, and we're so happy to have her on the show. Hi, Lisa Marie Falbo.
Oh my God, this is so awesome. How are you doing? What an intro. Congratulations to the both of you.
Thank you.
That's Robin coming on here that I have more questions for you guys than you will for me.
Well,
so much
you do
to talk about.
You
with
do
what
it for a
have going
living.
on. So
You do it for a living, so you can ask away. But I see that shirt now. Is that hubby's prize possession behind, or because Mr. Layeritz, number 13, just left to go to Yankee Stadium? Who decided to frame that number 2 behind you, the great Derek Jeter?
not my husband, me.
All right.
Do you know when, and you could look this up, when the New York Post, when Derek retired in 2014, the New York Post put together the top 5 Derek Jeter fans in the area, and I was one of them.
How funny is that? How funny
So
is
what
that?
happened was when he announced his retirement, I was very sad and I was feeling very sentimental. And on social media, I put all of my Jeter memorabilia. I mean, when I was younger, he, broke on the scene in 1996, right? I was in middle school. So he was God. I mean,
Right.
through middle school, high school, he still is God. But I put all my memorabilia up there, every magazine cover I collected, every newspaper snippet I collected. And the New York Post came across that collection and reached out to me to do a story. So,
Unbelievable.
Before
Yeah.
you and your sister get into it, tell our listeners on the Big 8 here, and please call us. Feel free. You can call in while Lisa's on, 727-518-0820. Tell us about the Giants, the work you do with I'm going to call them the New Jersey Giants.
She'd like to do that too.
And tell us a little bit about why you love sports so much and what you do in the sports world. Then I'll let you two go off on your own little journey.
yeah, I mean, why do I love sports? So I would say my love for sports started with the New York Giants. When I was in first grade, that's when they made their Super Bowl 25 run.
Right.
And I just remember being so excited because my father was so excited. And they had a big Super Bowl party. And my mother's like, you could either stay with the dads downstairs and watch the game or come upstairs with the younger kids in the playroom and, because who cares about the game? And I'm like, no, I'm going to stay downstairs with dad. And if you remember, it was a nail biter of a game.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Giants won because of the wide right missed field goal by Scott Norwood.
Yeah.
And from then on, I was hooked. I was completely hooked.
That's a cool daddy-daughter moment.
Yeah, I knew that was going to get you.
Yeah.
I knew that was going to touch his heart.
Revolved around the Giants. And when I was growing up, I wanted to be a sideline reporter because I wanted to talk about the Giants. And,
Right.
television and media, it's all I ever wanted to do. So I went through school, high school, college with that goal in mind. When I was eligible to intern, I interned with WFAN Sports Radio.
Sure.
So from 3 days a week in that summer, I would drive from East Hanover, you both know it very well, to Astoria, Queens
Wow.
to intern in their promotions and marketing department.
Good
And
for
it
you.
was the best summer of my life, I say, because I was working alongside with the WFAN personalities, Mike and the Mad Dog, Joe Benigno. We all know and love them.
Yep.
Going to events, really getting to know the tri-state area. And they hired me. So when I was in college, I was working with WFAN.
Where'd you
And
go to
then
college?
From there, I moved on to production. And from there, I moved on to working with the New York Giants. So unfortunately, due to COVID, I haven't done it the past couple seasons because it's been very scaled down.
Right.
But I was at every Giants home game producing their pregame, halftime, and postgame shows.
That's
and
awesome.
working for the team. So I guess a dream does come true. But as I grew up and evolved, sports is my passion, but it's just one part of who I am and what I want to do. But I'm just happy to really have enjoyed myself working in that field.
Well, I'll let Robin ask a couple questions, but remember this, dreams come true through hard work, and you put the work in, and that's cool. In a time, and earlier we had this conversation where it wasn't so easy to be a woman. You just didn't get a free ride. You had to work for it. But go ahead, Deloria, you two can catch
She
up.
had to work, 3 times as hard.
Mm-hmm.
And, as just from knowing her for as long as I have, we used to do I was on the music side, and she would cover a lot of the events that I had been doing. And I just remember her being, such a hustler. Like you had a goal in mind. And I'm so glad that, when you became a mom, you actually had a daughter, because I can't imagine a better role model for her to grow up with. Well, a mom, like a strong mom. And, we talk about all the time, where we grew up, and we have, these Italian roots where the mom and the grandma looked very different than what moms and grandmas are going to look like, for your daughter, right? Because it's just a different time. And so what are I'm interested in your thoughts about that, being kind of breaking out of, the stereotypical woman especially in our area and our culture too.
Well, something I have to, so my grandmother, I'm second generation Italian. So my grandmother, all my grandparents came over. My dad's side is from Sicily. My mother's side is from Calabria. But my mother, I guess, was a little ahead of her time because she went to college. She got her master's degree. She just retired last year from ExxonMobil after 40 years.
Oh, wow.
So I never knew anything but a working mom.
Right.
And Robin, to your point, in the area that you and I grew up in, that wasn't the norm, but she loved it. I mean, she worked right in Florham Park. That's where Exxon was. And then they moved to Clinton, New Jersey. And so I guess that's all I've known.
Yeah.
And, just like, I thank God that I have a job. I have a support system, both professionally and most importantly, personally, that allows me to do what I want to do and what I'm passionate about.
I mean, that's
doing.
really
huge. I hope
that's huge.
And I get asked that question all the time. Like, how are you doing all of this as a mom? And for your listeners, my she's 13 months. So she is a COVID baby.
Right.
COVID actually helped me find that balance because Robin, pre-COVID, forget about it. I was running around crazy, but being home pregnant and really, figuring things out and taking the time, I think really helped.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm proud to call you, a fellow colleague, and I think it's wonderful, and I hope that there's more of you that emerge from our area, so that because we have this conversation all the time, and about women giving up their passions for their family, and we don't have to do that. For you listeners out there, give us a call, because this is a great conversation. You will absolutely enjoy, Lisa Marie. We're at 727-518-0820. You're listening to The King and the Cop, and right now I have on a very, very wonderful guest. Her name is Lisa Marie Falbo, and we're talking about strong women. And you want to raise your hand?
Question coming in, Elisa.
Oh,
my daughter, who's a freshman and who we were with at the Yankee game last night, and you're going to have those moments with your daughter, which are going to be so special.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Like you did with your dad. And my daughters, when I owned the Newark Bears, my daughters were the assistant GMs. I was blessed. My question we had earlier in the show, and I know you love us, but you can't listen to 2 hours of us. We're talking about the first female to manage the New York Yankees in Major League Baseball, and how that's breaking, with tradition in a big way, good and bad, depends who you're talking to. And, but like that, what Robin's saying, it's so cool that you're going to be raising a daughter, and I have a granddaughter, 13 months old, 2 granddaughters. And I'm glad they're going to get to see these things. I was sick of it being a man's world my whole life, even when I was a cop. My favorite and most, and I'll say this, it's not proper with 2 women and my listeners, ballsy partner was a female.
Yeah.
she'd run through any door with me, any door. And I think it's cool that you have boys, but to raise girls, it's still going to be tough. But she's going to look in the mirror, and that's not daddy's shirt behind you. That was mommy's shirt because mommy was a fan and her dad taught her. And you don't want to wish their life away, but will you raise her in that same way your dad, like, I'm going to sit downstairs with dad watching the game instead of upstairs? Are you going to raise your daughter like that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I get asked that question a lot. Like, media, Robin, you know this. It's such a man's world, right?
Yeah.
The decision makers a lot of the time are men, the personalities and that sort of thing. But I never saw it that way because I always viewed being a woman as an asset. I never thought like, oh, I'm not getting this opportunity because of gender or for anything else. It's okay, it just didn't work out. Like I never pigeonholed myself in that way. And that's how I would that's how I am going to raise my daughter. You know, I don't want her to see gender, color, whatever. Just work hard, do your best, be your best, and the good things will happen.
You just have to like prepare her for that mode of thinking when you never saw it, you know, because it is a man's world, especially in media and in music. And it really is. And I have to say, it was tough before you even opened your mouth, when you walk into a door, you feel like you have to work 10 times as hard to get the respect. And I do believe that there has been over the years, I mean, I know people speaking to you in ways they'd never speak to other men. And that has been hard, you know? And so it's great that you kind of never let that bother you. And you kind of have this mode of thinking that you don't accept that. You don't receive that.
I mean, at WFAN, I mean, hearkening back, it's so crazy to think of where we've all wound up, like that summer of 2004. That's when Kevin Burkhardt, Tommy, you know that name.
Yeah, of course.
Kevin Burkhardt, I worked alongside him in the newsroom. He was like from Bloomfield selling cars. Right. And he got a break at WFAN. Now he's the #1 play-by-play guy at Fox Sports, and he's replacing Joe Buck, and he'll be calling their Super Bowls.
It's amazing, right?
It's amazing.
Let me tell you how
Giannotti, that's another name more locally, but he is with Boomer Esiason on the Boomer and Geo show. We started at the same time. So it just goes to show, I don't know, men, women. I mean, as long as you're passionate and you're a good person and you keep working hard and you keep putting yourself in the opportunity to get more opportunities, it's going to happen.
Very well said.
Let me tell you how far sports have come with women. Robin DeLore is a sports writer.
Well, she has to be because she's got her stud football player of a son over there.
Who don't know that?
I need to hear. I mean, I've been following very closely because I am a proud Hanover Park Hornet as well. And they had such a glorious run. And I know things still aren't normal with COVID and everything. So there's something to be said for that. But it looked like he was getting offers from all over. And he decided to play. Where is he going to school? Delaware?
Yep.
Delaware.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I can't even explain to you how proud he obviously didn't get any athletic ability from me. You know where it comes from. He's from a long line of athletes and they were great. He really exceeded any wishes we ever had for him. And as a mom, I was saying how lucky I felt because, some parents go and they support their children and they never get to play. Mine gets to literally amaze the crowds with his passion and his talent and his gifts. And I don't want to sound braggy, because I know that it probably does sound a little braggadocious here, but at the same time, I'm in awe.
Well, I can talk. He broke every high school record.
I know.
He was the first player ever to be player of the year from our school, our county.
Super 100
in the state. And for up until he had a little injury and nobody would know, he was the leading rusher in the entire state of New Jersey, yards per carry. So I could brag about him. I used to get emotional when he would touch the ball. He was one of those kids, when he got the ball, everybody stood up. Everybody stood up
Yeah, it was
because you
just
never knew what
exciting.
was going to happen. And so he's following in his dad's footsteps down in Delaware, and he did have a lot of
And
offers.
uncle.
And his uncle.
I didn't realize that they went to
Yeah,
Delaware.
Mike
Did they
went there
play
too.
there as well?
Yeah.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so he'll
So, Michael, I mean, he's going to go to college. He's going to kill it down there. Is he looking at the pros? Is that the next step?
Oh, no. I mean, I'd love him to think that way just because, why not? Right. I mean, even the examples that you just gave us, right? He was selling cars and now he's the number one sports, Kevin, I would love him to reach for the stars like that because you never know. And I certainly happen to think he's I think he's like the best in the world, I think. Right.
Well,
pretty much like universe.
Yeah, he's the best.
Right. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I'll say this to you, though.
I'm biased, but
I'll say this to you, and I'm going to share it with him. And it's funny, he called in today because he's very humble and very shy. But we were talking about the Mets. Scotty Scheffler, who just won the Masters and was born in New Jersey, was here to 5, said he broke down crying before the final round because he didn't think he was worthy. He didn't think he could do it. And he didn't know how he was going to do it. And he shouldn't even be there. And his wife said, we make plans, God laughs at us. Who are you to think you can't be somebody?
Yeah, just go for it.
So I want Michael to enjoy his 4 years. Then you make a decision based on the decision that's going to be set forth before you, whether you were good enough or you'll decide your own career. He doesn't need to know right now he wants to be in the NFL. I would argue that any kid that is that blessed, and he's not good, he's not great, he's blessed, he should pay attention to what his talents are.
I don't like when talented people think small.
Yes.
I don't like when anybody thinks small. I just don't like it. And I try to convey that to my sons because you just never know in life, and it's a long life to live. It's a short life to live, but it's a long life to live when you're not happy doing what you want to, what you're doing. So if you get in a job that you don't like, it's a long, long life.
Before we let you go, favorite New York Giant?
Yeah. Oh, my favorite?
Yeah. We know Jeter's baseball.
Yeah, with the Yankees, it's I really don't have one.
I need to wait, Ashbeth. We need to talk for 1 second. We need to talk about your book. I want to tell everyone about your book because I love it. Tell Tommy about your book because I didn't even tell him.
Oh my God. Well, at this point, it's been out. It's called 10 Years Later, and it's been out almost 10 years ago. And it's funny because it ties into this conversation that we're having. So the book is called 10 Years Later, and it's about a girl who is a year away from her 10-year high school reunion, and she's taking stock in her life. She's still living at home with her overbearing parents. She's in a dead-end job that she doesn't like. She has no boyfriend. She feels totally behind the 8 ball. And you follow her throughout the year leading up to the reunion to see if, she'll clean up her life and walk in like a big shot that she wants to be. But what she realizes along the way is that she had everything she needed and wanted all along.
Where can we get this book, Lisa? I love it.
10 Years Later, you can get it on Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, all online, all the major online real.
So Lise, we're definitely getting and read it. And then this girl that I affectionately call my wife and love, she wrote a song that's called Late to the Game. And Late to the Game.
I didn't know that.
Yes, and Late to the Game is all about raising your children, and then all of a sudden you give up your career for your children, and one day you look out and they're walking down the front lawn and not even turning around to say goodbye because somebody else is in her life, which happens to all of us. They don't love her less. They just start their own life. And so another one, who is she now? Who is this Late to the Game? We're going to play it this week. I'm going to play it on the air.
And tell us what you're up to. I want to know what you're up to. You've been now you're on television.
Yes.
I'm just so proud of you.
For being on maternity, like this time last year, right? I was like on the couch breastfeeding all day.
Right.
And a year later, right before Christmas, we came in contact with a company called Weigel, and they own television stations around the country. And they purchased the local affiliate here in New Jersey, MeTV WJLP. And through that, we produce content for them, New Jersey-based content. So myself, my production partner, Gerald D'Ambra, we produce 9 daily news updates, all catered to New Jersey headlines. And that's been so much fun to really get to know the news. And because New Jersey, as you guys know, there's not a lot of outlets.
Well, I'm sitting here wondering why you never asked me to be on your show. I mean, I'm like the best,
Miss New Jersey, right?
I'm like,
we'll
amazing.
Get to that. Well, you don't want to be part of the news headline because they're like,
Yeah.
no, maybe you don't want to be on that.
Well, wait, Matt,
Mom has a mental breakdown.
Matt, let me ask my producer real quick. Does Robin have her own headline? What is her headline?
Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
It's okay.
Gone.
And
No,
then,
hold on. Robin, you do have your own headline.
What is it?
The star of the show, Robin Delory.
How's
I had to announce myself.
How's
like
that, Lise?
that. I like
She
that
comes
a lot.
on and she announces herself that she's the star. So here's what I'm going to say to you. We got 3 minutes before we sign off for the day. Our show's based in Tampa. Jimmy's out in California at times, Laritz, and we got listeners that Facebook Live and YouTube in New York, New Jersey. We have a lot of friends and family just like you. Listen, I need one favor from you.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it in a baseball term. There are many times we need pinch hitters, and you're going to come have to be a co-host with us because
Anytime.
we're going to have to get more than just 20 minutes with you. And I know that off the air, you got to be laughing hysterically that this singer next to me is actually weighing in on sports.
Listen, I love it. We'll have a football party in the.
I would love that because, Michael's is his senior year and I don't want to miss a moment. I don't want to miss a thing because it goes by so fast. And I know everybody tells you that, but it's so true. So we would be honored if you would sit in this chair and take my place when I'm going to watch my son play.
Or just join the two of us.
Whatever. And then, I just really fast about the WJLP
yes
that we do. So we do the news headlines, but we also produce 2 television shows. We have New Jersey Politics with Laura Jones,
Sure.
which is very cool because it's showing both sides of the aisle as to what's happening in the state. So it's not just a one-sided perspective, which
it's about time.
Is so important and needed in this day and age. And then my show that I host, it's called Your New Jersey. So it's about the good news, community stuff and people happening all around the Garden State. So
nice.
I love
from
it.
charities to events. We just had our dear friend Deb Belfato on.
Of course.
And NJ-PAC. I hope you go because
I love
that's such
her.
a fun afternoon.
I'm trying to get there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was, well, yeah, that was the thing. Might be in Tampa.
So, well, Lisa, we're going to say goodbye to you because we're about
Thank
to
you
go
so
off
much.
the air.
Oh, thank you
I'll be
so
on
much.
again.
Thank you.
And we really appreciate you. And without sounding condescending, we're very, very, very proud of you.
And Jimmy would love to co-host this show with you because unlike me, you really know your baseball and Yankees.
Oh, and he played. I mean, he played on my team.
I can't wait for you to do the show with him. It'll be great.
Well, thank you, Lisa.
Anything you need. But thank you again so much. And we love you. I love what you're doing. You guys are naturals. Well, Robin, you're a natural talent and performer. So this is just an obvious next step.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, thank you, Lisa. So
Bye, take
good
care.
day here on the
Love
Big
you.
Eight. Great guests to end the show with. Just such another young, outstanding female making a difference in the world. It was a big day, a couple sad stories. The Steelers dealing with the loss of their quarterback, and he was a Jersey kid. And, let's go Yankees tonight. We're at the Blue Jays. Rays are going to try to keep staying undefeated. And enjoyed that. That was a nice way to end the day, So you were listening to The King of the Cop with Robin Delory. Jimmy, give us a shout later and let us know how the Yankee game's going, and we'll all catch up tomorrow. Tommy Setner saying goodbye for Jimmy Laritz, the King, and Robin Delory. You're listening to the Big 8 Radio. Good night, Tampa. It was good listening and talking to you.